Hi, everybody. I'm Mike,
And I'm Eric.
and we're here to provide you with answers to frequently asked questions. Today's question: how can I make sure that I am not losing any images coming from my camera, Eric?
In order to answer to this question, let me show you my screen.
Okay.
And here I'm going to use Memento, which is our logging tools. And in Memento, I'm going to enable the analyzer tool. So make sure this tool is enabled. And then I'm showing the analyzer to see which traces I'm going to record. I'm going to record readout, which will tell me each time the image has been produced by the camera and has been sent to the frame grabber. I'm also going to track the frame ID. Then I'm going to track the sending of the data from the frame grabber to the PC memory, which is a DMA. Then I'm going to track what's happening when the frame grabber driver receives the image following what is inside the input pool. And last, I'm going to track what's happening on the application level when the application receives the image from the frame grabber, and making sure that the whole pass from the camera to the application, I'm not losing any frames. To do
Okay.
this, to generate the image, I'm going to use GeniCam browser, and I'm going to generate 200 image and make sure that I receive this 200 image in my application. So let me clear this, and let's start the recording. Here I'm acquiring my 200 frames. This generate messages here in Memento. I have now my 200 frames, and I'm going to analyze this to see the plot of my traces. I have here all my traces, and as you can see, this takes my 10 seconds. Okay, 200 frame, 20 frames per second, 10 seconds acquisition. I'm now not going to count all the traces, but use a bookmark to do so. So I'm positioning at the beginning of the recording, and I create a bookmark here. So bookmark, toggle bookmark. And then I'm going to go at the end here and place another bookmark at the end here. Here. And now I'm going to count how many events happened during these two bookmarks. So I'm going to analyze, measure between bookmarks, and I'm measuring between bookmark 0 and bookmark 1. Okay? And here I have received 200 readouts. So the camera have 200 times sent one readout. I can also check that each of them has produced a different frame ID. So my last frame ID is 2259. And if I zoom out and I go back to the beginning, so let's zoom in here, I have 2060, which makes effectively 200 images. After this, I'm going to count and to show how many DMA has occurs, and I can see DMA. So the frame grabber has received 200 images and sent 200 images to the PC memory. Here on the input pool, I can see when the driver receives the image and provide it to the user, and I have here 400 events. I have 200 events of the image coming inside, which generate one event, and then the application getting it out, it generates 200 more events. So I have 400 events. And here I have 400 event as well, having 200 image coming in, 200 image going out of the application, and then I have a final release where I have one last image. So this is why I have 401 here. Okay. So
Okay.
now I'm
Thank you,
making
Eric.
sure, yeah. So does this answer to your question?
Yes, now I could see more clearly that I could correlate 200 images leaving the camera on the readout line and correlate that with the DMA transfer and then the software events on the host side that confirms I received 200 images. So yes, thank you, Eric.
You are welcome. Have a nice day.